Welcome to another episode of Jamming with Jason. Hey, today I am really excited because I'm going to talk with Jeffrey Edwards or Jeff Edwards, and he's actually from Detroit. And so y'all know how much I love music. And so Detroit, obviously famous for music over the years, Detroit Rock City, but also Motown, R&B, everything else that has come out of that great city. And I'm excited to talk with Jeff, who is, in my opinion, a fabulous musician who's also living in Detroit. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of his music, as well as kind of some of the creative process behind it. I was lucky enough to be on his podcast a little while ago and just couldn't resist having him on my podcast as well. So, with that, everybody sit back, throw in your headphones, relax as we get into this week's episode that's rolling now. All right, Jeff, I'm excited to have you here, man. It's
Oh man,
I've been like totally geeking out. I mean, we did a recording on your podcast a week or two ago,
no,
and then I went and listened to some of your music, and I've literally been geeking out, looking forward to this interview for a while now. So,
appreciate that.
so thank you.
Oh, you're gonna change your life, man. It's good music.
Well, music changes lives, right? I mean, and I want to get in and I want to talk about that because music has changed your life. It's helped save your life,
Oh yeah,
I think, as well, right? That we'll get into in a little bit deeper, and I know it has for me as well, right? So, you're my brother, you're my musical brother, and I'm just grateful to be talking to you today. And I know, as part of it, I wanted to kind of go through because I know you had an album that came out this last year, JLE World. And
hmm
I've listened to some of the tracks off of that, so I want to get into that a little bit too. But
Okay.
maybe just take a minute and kind of introduce yourself to people because um, you've got a pretty interesting background too, right? And yet music has kind of flown through the whole thing as well, right? So give people a little background on yourself, who you are, how you've kind of gotten to this point.
Okay. I'm a author, musician, and CEO and host of Middle Ground with JLE LLC. Yeah, podcast, but we treat you like family. Show dedicated to help people find their purpose by interviewing a lot of amazing individuals through all career fields. And I'm going to start doing other component, talk about the other topics, sports, politics, entertainment, whatever. Give the entertainment value to the show.
Yep.
Graduated from Wayne State, Mike Ellis School of Business, class of 2020. I've been doing music since the night my father passed, January 6, 1991.
Okay.
I listened to the Wine as a Friend, and that kind of helped me, and that kind of put me in a vibe to make music to help others. And over the years, I've been trying to hone how to write, create, and eventually I started to get to studios in Millennium. First song I ever did sucked.
It usually does, right? I mean, come on.
And
Who writes a hit the first time, right? I mean, come on.
I had like 4 styles going at once, but I was my idol Babyface. Like I'm that dude. You couldn't tell me nothing. My homeboys clowning me. Man, y'all hating the girl I was talking to in town. Like she got my back. I played it for her. She like, nah, this sucked. Like, dang. Now I'm hearing from the fella like we trying to tell you. Even she told you it sucked. Like, all right, y'all don't understand G. I don't know. But I'll take it to account because my baby at the time did say it sucked. So I gotta listen. Like she's a female. They always listen to music. So she know look for. But I ain't let the homie just clown me, just be winning. Like, nah, y'all don't know. Whatever. But I started learning about a third time I went because I was going to a studio in Oak Park with a classmate. At the middle millennium, I was going for music management. And I met my producer, Lauren, who was a great dude. He kind of let me figure out what my style was and what to do. And the song on my first album, Mental Thoughts, which it wasn't a country song when I first recorded it, but I fell asleep with my producer, Now Throne Music, was mixing it, but it still came out cool. So I left it on the first album, the JLE Experience. I love country music too. I love all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it started showing me that, okay, you know, type of way to approach what you do. But I had to start learning how to do the verses. Because Babyface was my person I looked up to because I saw the meat and potatoes of the song was his chorus.
Yep.
But the verses had to get you there. So I had to learn, well, you do got to sing the verses or rap it to get there. I was just trying to just skip the step. Just let me just start doing the chorus because I love Boys to Men, so I always wanted to have a singing group. So in my mind, when I do the choruses and I do the layering, that's my group harmony.
There you go. Well, yeah. And I mean, come on, Babyface and Boys to Men. Yeah, those are some good dudes to look up to, right? I mean, as far as from a musical perspective.
Oh man, classic dudes.
Well, it's interesting because I was going to say, because you know when you're talking about Babyface, right, is a lot of musicians the key component are the verses, and the chorus ends up kind of being a transition to the next verse, right? Where you're saying Babyface was more kind of flip around, like the verses get you to the chorus instead of the other way around. Right?
I could be wrong because I never talked to him. Maybe one day I can interview him, but that was my interpretation to listening because the word that he would put in the chorus was in depth. Like it seemed like he building you up to get here because you're gonna brainwash people because you always remember the chorus. So if you put what you're really trying to say in the chorus, people are gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought about it that way, but it is kind of interesting. And I know it's like you brought up the country music because I wanted to, we'll listen to a couple of your songs, I think, as we go through this, because I want people to experience your music too, so they can go out and buy it, right? Because I want them to go buy your music. But I think there's a lot of power in your music, and I love too, like that you've got some different styles on there. Right, which I love, and that's why, like I said, I mean, it's I mean, come on, most musicians, they kind of have their little lane that they play in mainly, but I haven't met a professional musician who doesn't love all kinds of music and take inspiration from all kinds of stuff, right? So I love seeing that, and one of the songs that I want to play, later on, was when I first started listening to it, I'm like, what? Am I listening to his album or is this something else? And then it's like, boom, you hit and go into it. And I'm like, damn, that was good. That was good. So we'll get to that in a little bit too. But I wanted to ask you, because I know you said, you really started kind of getting into music in 1991 when your father passed.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe let's talk about there and go there if you're comfortable with that, because we all experience things like this in our life. Right? My mother's passed. Death has come to my family a lot, right? I've had siblings die, brother-in-laws, uncles, grandparents, everybody, right? A lot of people in my life have died. And I think, most people listening can relate to that, right? Most people have people close to them who have died. But, what was it about that experience, or how did music kind of help you through that time?
Well, I realized is the night when it happened, I was playing my G.I. Joes for people.
I love G.I. Joes,
back in the 90s. I should have kept that stuff. I could have sold it, man.
It was worth a lot of money now.
man, I missed out. And he stopped breathing. I'm like, he ain't moving at the time. His leg was jacked up. For him to be kind of on the down end, if you grab his leg, he swung over. I'm like, y'all say my dad all jacked up, but touch his leg, that left hook coming. So I'm moving it, and he wasn't doing it. I'm like, okay, y'all got to come in here, man, because something ain't right. So they come in here. They try to give him CPR. They called the ambulance. They came. They took him. And I realized, like, hopefully God can come on through for us, because the way they taking it, because they had him when he was younger, so they got all the memories of conversation, going to sporting events. So they was really freaking out. I'm like, At the time, I'm trying to console my sister before they came home. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 o'clock that morning, and wasn't no one speaking. So I'm like, okay, is he dead? Is he in the hospital? What's the verdict? And then my mom fell out in my sister's room, like, oh, he gone. My brother was beating up the car in the yard. Older brother was throwing something. My sister was crying. I'm like, wow, well, I'm kind of thinking like, I still got to graduate high school.
Yeah.
This sucks that he's gone, but don't forget about your boy. But I'm processing all this and realizing your childhood is over with now because you got to figure out how to be a man because where your family is leaning, they're not taking it well. And they're kind of forgetting you still got the youngest who got to graduate high school. So I remember going into my room. I had the old school red and yellow tape deck radio. That might seem foreign to people in 2023.
I remember him.
I had the whiners. They came out that Teddy Riley produced back then. And The Friend was my song. So I just kept playing The Friend, playing with my toys again, and just kept playing it all night, and it gave me comfort. Mm-hmm. And so from that point, music became my sanctuary. Even though I never told a lot of people like I'm writing songs or whatever, it became very personal. So it started that journey of you escape to music. As I learned to figure out life on my own, because it truly did unfortunately happen where it's like, metaphorically speaking, everybody went in their own little world to deal with my father's death and closed the door behind them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay, well, God, if you say you got me, I got music now. I want to be an engineer, so I'm gonna figure this thing out. And then saw the gangs, the dope dealers trying to recruit me. I'm a nerd. I'm trying to get to school and get my degree. I don't know about that street stuff. I'm good. And I always kept running to music, whether I write a song or I listen to Babyface or Boyz II Men. I really went into Tupac when he first came out.
I like him. I like him too. Yeah.
Yeah. My cousin told me like he's gonna be a star. I'm like, this dude singing on same song. Like, man, whatever.
No, if he hadn't been killed, he would have been huge.
Yeah, my cousin knew something. Because when I heard Brenda's Got a Baby, I'm like, wow. Yeah, that's a song. You could put a story together like that. Like, wow. Okay. Keep that in mind when you start writing. Because I started learning to like rap. I was strictly put a suit on, get a rose, and just be singing. I don't like no rap. But as I started getting older, getting my heart broken, like, okay, I understand rap a little bit now.
Well, yeah, you were trying to go into more like the Boyz II Men kind of a mold, right? Yeah.
But Tupac became that anchor as I kept getting older. I wrote my first song 8th grade year, front and back. I think it was called Our Love. I was telling everybody in my class, I wrote a song. They're like, but it's 2 pages. Man, I don't care. I wrote a song. What you talking about? Give me my promise. I love that these streets, man. What I got to do to prove something to you people? I wrote a song.
Yep.
Like, hey, y'all geek. What's wrong with Jeff? Like, y'all don't get it. So I started learning, like, okay, well, this would be like a 10-hour song, Jeff. You can't be right front back. You gotta, well, listen to Babyface. His song is 3 minutes. Okay. You gotta shorten this. Mm-hmm. I would start, because that's when you could buy the tapes and look through who wrote it. That was the thing I did a lot, to see who wrote it, who produced it, who arranged, who sung it. And I would know, it's like, well, I want to do all that. I mean, that to me was a complete musician. If you look on who did everything, and they just keep saying Babyface. Like, I want to do that if I make a song.
Yeah,
because I don't know how to do it.
He was writing, producing, performing, doing everything on his stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember I started getting better at writing songs about 11th grade. By that time, I started looking at, you're going to graduate in 96. Your dad not going to be there, so I don't want to think about that. So let me smoke some weed, let me drink. Spoiler alert, that don't help you people. He still didn't see me graduate. I still get depressed. So don't turn in no drugs, nothing to deal with your issue. Go seek help or talk to somebody. Real talk.
Mm-hmm.
That was just wasting my time. Then my mom, because I looked like him, we didn't really get along. So she would always, I guess in her way of trying to help me, put me down, thinking that it made me be motivated to do better. But I have my own ego. So to me, I didn't need that. But I somewhat understood. But there were some days where hearing the words that you ain't gonna do this and that, whatever, it would hurt. So that led to a week of attempted suicide. I would go in there, get a knife, put it to my wrist, and man, they wouldn't even care if I do it. But God will work with you where you are. And at that time, Me Against the World came out, and I played that CD to death. Not that I had to get another because I scratched it. And God would say, man, put that down and go play Tupac. And that would give me comfort. So I never tried that again. I would just always play Tupac if I just felt really down. Or Babyface, Boy Spin, or other artists that I like to not go do that. You know.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, hearing you just talk about that, Jeff, it's like, holy shit, man. I mean, I just want to recap a little bit for people who are listening to this, because, I mean, you've obviously kind of processed a lot of this stuff well,
Yeah.
because to be able to talk about those experiences that you went through in somewhat of a matter-of-factly way, right, means that you kind of processed and healed and moved through a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, you were a little kid still. I mean, you were still in high school or just going into high school when your dad dies in front of you, right? He died in front of you.
Yeah, he did.
You know, you had the rest of your family, like you said, retreating. You know, your brother was out beating on the car or whatever. I mean, every person was kind of processing things their own way, and you were kind of left on your own, right?
Yeah.
To try to deal with this, and you turned to music. Now, you know, and again, I mean, I saw your GPA and your college degree and everything else, right? But I mean, how many young men that would have been or were in your same situation chose to let the gangs or the drug dealers or, you know, find solace in those other places and kind of go down a completely different path, right? But you consciously chose, right, to actually, nope, I'm going to college, I'm getting a degree, I'm a smart kid, I'm going to turn to music, right? And it's I mean, literally, music has saved your life in a couple of different ways already, right?
And I love women, Jay.
Huh? And what?
I love women. Ain't no women in prison, so you ain't talking.
True that. True that. Yeah, oh, yeah. Or they're in a different
drugs,
prison.
I'm gonna go to jail. Shooting at somebody, robbing, I'm gonna go to jail. Ain't no women there.
No,
I'm good.
I'm not going there. There's no women there.
And the drug dealers, the gangs will laugh like, you did some, I love women, bro. Just read me a book. Just be in my presence. What you talking about ain't nothing that over there. I'm cool. I be a nerd. I'm short and fat, but that's cool. I get tall. I work out. But I can talk to any female in this classroom, and you got to worry about this dude trying to get you, that dude trying to shoot you. I ain't got to worry about that. I got to worry about doing homework.
Yep.
I got other stuff I'm dealing with, processing figuring out manhood without my dad, but I ain't got them problems. Because I'm going to talk to females. She's going to make me feel better. Mm-hmm. But you go ahead with all the have fun. And some of them died, went to jail. If they got out of it, like, man, I should listen to you. Like, dude, there's no trouble at school. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, telling you the whole time, right? Well, no, because it's and I think too, you know, like you said, that you kept, you know, when you had those, because I know this happens to a lot of people, right? Where you know, you said your mom was kind of putting you down, and I think sometimes parents do that, sometimes because they're hurting, right? And they just don't know how else to deal with it. I think sometimes parents do it because, like you were kind of inferring, I think sometimes parents think that by being tough on a kid like that, that they're actually helping him to become stronger. right? I know there is just old Johnny Cash song, "A Girl Named Sue." I don't know if you
Okay.
ever, if you ever heard that song, "A Girl Named Sue," and it's like it's about this guy whose dad leaves him, and but before he leaves him, he names him Sue, right?
Mm.
So this poor kid had to grow up with the name Sue, so he'd get beat up all the time, and he's like,
Oh man.
"I'm gonna go find that son of a bitch that named me Sue, and I'm gonna kill him," right? But anyway, at the end of the song, the dad was kind of like, "Yeah, I know I wasn't a good dad, but I named you Sue because I know it would make you strong," right?
Mm.
But anyway, we digress. We digress, right? So, but that a lot of times those getting treated that way does lead us to feel like we'd be better off not here, right?
Mhm.
And I know, you express some of those feelings. I've had some of those same feelings at different points in my life, right? Where I would look at it, I was pretty low, and I would think, you know what, I'm worth more dead than I am alive.
Mhm.
And I
Now,
would contemplate, things like that. I would shake myself out of it, just like you shook yourself out of it with
yeah,
with music.
with
Um,
music, and I developed my own personality to hype me up, an ego that I called the greatest man alive. And
so
I
you
was
like
saying,
created an alter ego?
yeah, they like, you the greatest man alive. I'm like, yeah, because if I put my mind to it, ain't nothing I can't achieve. So yeah, I'm the greatest man alive. You the greatest woman alive. So why? Yeah, that's why I'm that guy. As I got older, you shouldn't have to say that. But that was like my little way of, okay, you got this negative. You that dude, Jeff. Bone with everybody saying. You put the work in, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta grind. You'll figure it out. And that kind of got me through a lot of stuff that I didn't know that I did learn. Because like, okay, I ain't buying into that. And back then, you have more after school programs, geared towards showing if you're a young black male, you're gonna be dead or in jail before you're 21, teenage dad at 17. Like, that ain't my life. I'm more than a statistic. So you can go with all that bull job. I'm gonna be awesome and doing something with my degree. Eventually get a company of something. But it ain't gonna be what you talking about. I ain't trying to raise no kids. 17? Hell no.
No.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, because it's almost a death sentence to a lot of kids at that point. When they end up getting in that situation, their life is completely different than what it could have been.
Mhm.
At that point. So, oh man, well, yeah. I mean, so you started writing songs in high school, and I know for me, because again, what's interesting is I went off. I started learning how to play the guitar when I was in high school. Then
Okay.
I went off to college, and had all the heartbreak and the girl that broke my heart, and I wrote a bunch of sappy love songs that sucked. But that was
Been
one of
there.
the, yeah, you've been there, right? But that was one of the ways that it helped me kind of process, right, a lot of what was going on, because I'd kind of write this poetry or write these lyrics and then kind of sing it as a way to kind of help heal myself, as I was going through a lot of these things. And one of your songs that I think when we talked before, so tell me if I'm right in thinking about this, because "You Will Not Break Me,"
Mhm.
one of your songs, um what's this, or well, I'm trying to think here. Maybe should we play that for everybody
Yeah,
first,
you
and
go
then
ahead.
and
I mean,
and then let's
unless you want
talk.
to get a backstory first.
Maybe let's play it, and then let's give
Okay,
people the backstory, because like I
go
said,
ahead.
let me cue it up here, because um like I said, I want people to experience some of the music too. So let me cue this up.
And I own all the music and copyright.
Yep. So we got all the copyright stuff good, so nobody get mad at us. But anyway, so here we go. This is "You Will Not Break Me" off of
Mhm.
JLE World. So here we go.
Now go down. Now go down. That's
Oh,
World on Fire.
look at that. I did. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that was weird. That was Jason's screw up. Here we go. All right, You Will Not Break Me. Here we go. Next song. Here we go.
So many tears, told me you love me. First chance you bounced, question all things, being a good guy. It ain't easy, being JLE. How time flies when it falls apart. I'm picking up the pieces of my heart. So I get lost in this music till time ends. A broken heart. I tried my best. I might have stumbled along the way, but my intentions were always the best for you. I'm gonna let my feelings play out through this melody. I will always love you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is a great song on so many different levels that I want to tell you about, at least from
I
my
get lost in there every
perspective.
time I hear it.
At least from my perspective. But give us some of the backstory on that, because I know that that's a song full of emotion.
Yeah. Me and my wife separated. This was 2001. Around February, she moved out April 2001. I was going to the studio later that month. And right around this time, the song prior to that I recorded, my producer started cracking jokes like, "You've been playing piano all this time?" Like, I could have sworn I told him I took a piano class in Wayne State. Got a keyboard at the crib. Every time I started
Oh, we
learning
can
how
see
to
the
do my
keyboard right here in
music.
the video, right?
Yeah, I started
Right
learning
there.
how to do the stuff I recorded to mimic almost making the song, so I could we just put in there. He'd test the time temperature, the time signature, the tempo, and he'd be like, "Everything is on. Man, you got me doing all the work." Like, I could have sworn I told you I play piano, bro. I mean, this your equipment. I ain't trying to just be Bogart. Like, man, you better start getting behind the wheel. Like, for real? Man, that's the candy store you talking about, baby. Let me get behind it. And it was the first song he let me actually do everything. I'm like, wow, this is about to be awesome. So I just
Oh,
started
really?
playing
So you
piano.
actually did more of the producing on
Yeah,
that particular song too, hey?
yeah.
Okay.
That's the first time on the album where that song, I did everything. I'm playing the piano.
Yeah.
And when I played it, I closed my eyes because I had told him about we always pray before we record anything. And I just closed my eyes like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but we're gonna put this in the song and I keep it moving because I gotta finish this album. And the kid started playing. And he like, "Oh, we recording that." Everything I was doing, oh, hold on, record, do it again. And before I know, I started coming up with the words like, well, at the time, you say stuff when you mad on how you feel, and I felt words said was something to try to break me. So I figured, nah, you ain't gonna break me. We probably, be looking at things totally different, but you ain't gonna break me. And I somewhat thought about, well, maybe that might inspire somebody else, but it's more put all this in the song so I can keep it moving, finish the album. But when I let other people listen to it, I let a dear high school friend listen to it. She cried. Like,
Yeah.
I feel bad letting her listen to the song. And she like, I mean,
Hey, it's good art when people cry when they listen to it, okay? Because there's reasons for that. It's good.
Yeah, I was kind of speechless, but she explained like, I mean, the chorus you made for it, that can count for if you too tall and people pick on you, if you overweight or you too skinny or anything you're dealing with, you ain't gonna break me because God got me. Like, you don't realize how powerful that would be for someone to hear it. I'm like, I was just writing about what I'm dealing with so I can keep it moving. But looking on it now, like, I guess that would be that deeper meaning that would help others.
Well, yeah. And so if I heard you right, that was pretty much a one take in the studio, or when you were sitting down and playing the piano, and
let me see. I think maybe two.
two
I made all
takes.
the music, then we formatted the song. I came up with the chorus, and I think second time I had the words.
Okay. Well, and you know, as a musician too, right? I mean, you know, there's some songs that you just stick around with for like months or years, and there's other songs that just kind of come right through, right?
See,
And
true.
and when
But
they
I
come
want,
right through, there's usually, you're having help from up above,
but see,
right?
I want to be more like Tupac because when I started watching some of the autobiographies or people talk about him, they're like, man, Pac come to the studio. Oh, I got this track in here. Here, go in here. Put something down. He go here. I'm like, he knocking out songs like that. Like, okay. When I first started the first album, it would take me a while to finish the song. Like, okay, we got to be able to. If you got 4 hours in the studio, you should almost have that song finished. You got to get on that level, really serious on where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, how you want to, what you're trying to put out to the world through that song, so you can crank them out.
Yep.
Actually utilize your time, not just, okay, I think I want to go this direction the first hour. Let's try this. And by 30 minutes left, okay, the music done. Now come on the chorus. Like, nah, man, we gotta have that done in the first hour. So we almost about to mix the song. And that was the first time where it was more getting through to it.
Getting going. Yeah. Well, I will tell you, it inspired me too, right? So now let me share with you why I think that's such a great song too, right?
Okay.
Because exactly what you said, I think that's, as you were talking beforehand, about the chorus leading to the verses, that's a great example of this,
Mm-hmm.
right? The chorus repeats the whole time through, and it's got a good message, right? You will not break me, is the main hook through the whole thing. Because like you said, hey, everybody, all of us, right? There's people that are trying to break us. I got bullied for having big ears and being a nerd too, right? I mean, it's like, people are too fat, too skinny, too tall, too short, too whatever people are saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hearing that over and over again, right? So if somebody pops in that music and they just relax, they calm their brain down a little bit, as they're listening to that song, you have repeated that term in the chorus enough that it will actually subconsciously help people reprogram their brain to give them hope and resolve to know that you're strong and you cannot be broken.
Okay.
Right? You might not have even realized that, right? But
yeah.
but that's in there. That's in there, right?
Yeah,
so there's a powerful way that just even with people listening to that, they're going to hear that. Now, when you start the piano at the beginning too, there's a little bit of a dissonance in the beat pattern of it. There's kind of like a little half step in the middle where it's like you're kind of expecting, like, where's the next note? Where's the next note?
Yeah.
Right. So it keeps people, and that actually holds people's attention more. Right. A lot of people would be like, well, Jeff, you did that wrong. It was supposed to be like this. No, you did it right. Right. That's what came through. And then I love how you started off with the rap. You went to kind of the, Boys to Men-ish kind of singing in the middle, and then actually talking at the end. Right. So I can actually visualize, right, you kind of processing and having a discussion with whoever's trying to break you. And some of the other words, I'm not a perfect man, I mean, some of the other things that you put in there, it's just like, I can see why your friend cried. Because if I were to sit down and listen to that song and focus on it when I'm trying to release something or I'm trying to get that strength, I would probably cry too. Right, which to me means it's a great song, man. So thank you for putting that together.
I appreciate it, because I definitely didn't want to put it like, she sucked. Like, no, I could do things better too. It ain't just one. Two people make something fall apart. So I definitely want to put that in there where I could have did this or that better. It ain't just you. But some people tend to do that. Nah, it ain't just them. Two of y'all got together, and if it ain't working, both of y'all are off a little bit.
Yep.
Hold yourself accountable.
So I love that song. I love that
Appreciate
song. The other one that I wanted to play too is Troubled Waters. Okay, so maybe if we can, I'll play that and then we talk. You're laughing, so I'm hoping this is good, right? But
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
There's probably another story behind that one as well, and I think for this one too, it's the to me, it's kind of, it was a surprising, the way that you put it together, and people will get this when you're listening to it, because when I first started listening to it, I like looked down and I'm like, am I listening to the right album?
It makes it sound like you're in Scotland.
I know, that's what I'm like. Am I in Ireland or Scotland? What the hell's going on here, right?
Shout out to them over there, good people. Shout out to them.
But I think again, it's a great way of you kind of bringing in a lot of those other things to it as well. So why don't we go through it, listen to that one real quick.
Okay.
And then I'd like to get kind of your take on, kind of what was behind that one too.
Sure.
So here we go. If I can not fuck it up and actually get on the right track this time. Here we go.
There you go.
Troubled Waters. Here we go.
looking at the fork in the road, wondering which way to go. Choose left, it's a dark path. Choose right, it's a bright road. But them potholes are so cold. Got you wondering, am I all alone? Thinking about them nights alone. Them voices telling you it's time to go. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. But Jesus isn't far from home. Just get on your knees and pray for home. Your big mama been praying for so long. You gotta make a decision, it's time to go. Your purpose is steady waiting for you. Tell Jesus what you're gonna do. Say, Lord, will you just guide me through? I finally really wanna walk with you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. When you seem lost and all hope is gone, it's not. God covers you, walks with you, protects you. Someone's been praying for you, for your breakthrough. So reach out and take it. Work's not done till you find your purpose. So get after it. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you. Troubled waters don't last for long. Troubled waters will make you strong. Troubled waters wash over you. Troubled waters, God got you.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a great track too, man.
Yeah.
I love that one. I love that one.
Appreciate that one. Always for songs that I do that's gospel inspired, they gotta be the hottest banger because that's for God. So I definitely remember making that track. I wanted to make something that'll take you back to church, that'll talk about when you have adversity, how you deal with it, and a banging beat to go to it.
Yeah, well,
So-
it does. I mean, it's got one of those where, I mean, you can't listen to that without wanting to rock or do a little bit to it, right? Because you're feeling the beat
Mhm.
of the whole thing, which is kind of melodic in its nature, and it kind of, again, it kind of like hypnotizes us to help us
Yeah,
like incorporate in.
it sounds like it's Scottish on that one too, man. I don't know where I was at. I
I
was in
don't
the
know, but I
bag.
love it because
I was in the
like I
bag with
said,
those
you got
two.
like the little Scottish music going on, and then you come in on the rap, and I'm like, damn, I love that. But
That was a classic.
but I think it's, again, it's an example of like the other song that we listened to, where if people listen to that song, right, and we all experience troubled waters, right? We
Mhm.
all get in the choppiness of life, but they don't last for long. They make you strong. Someone's praying for you, right? There's all these other little messages, like you said, that
Mhm.
you're putting in there to help people realize, hey, those troubled waters, they're going to pass. It's okay. There's people around you. There's God above. There's people around you praying for you. There's people that got you,
Mhm.
right? It's actually going to make you stronger
Yeah.
when you go through it as well.
Yeah, you never
So,
get that young because someone before you was born was praying you have a good life.
mhm.
So you ain't in this alone to get to where you are in anything you're trying to do. And we can't forget about that.
No, and I think that's why, like you said, I don't know that we're never alone, right? Even, again, if it's God above, but there's usually people in our lives, and maybe they're a little on the outside, but like that, when you were growing up as a teenager, you lost your dad.
Mhm.
I'm sure there were teachers, there were neighbors, there were other
Mhm.
people who were praying and rooting for you, right, as
Mhm.
well, right? There's always somebody around, I think, kind of cheering for all of us, right? So anybody
Mhm.
out there listening, there's people cheering for you, right?
Yeah.
There's people that want to help you. um but yeah, I love that song. I love that
And I
song.
definitely want to have that taking the church break in there. I gotta have that. Give me a choir in there. I want to feel like you and the pastor about to start speaking on something. Pay attention.
Yep. Well, and I think it's because there's a lot of, I mean, again, music is such a big part of religion in general. I mean, if you look at,
Mhm.
a lot of the people, like a Whitney Houston, where'd she learn to sing?
Yeah,
Church
that's true.
choir, right? I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
it's in one of the most
My dad
amazing.
was a pastor.
Oh, your dad was a pastor? Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's, growing up kind of in that setting as well. I mean, obviously, music had a formidable part in your life at that point, but like you said, even as you kind of had gone through these adversities and you kind of knew where you wanted to go, it was a way to help kind of, keep you motivated, keep giving you hope, help you
Mhm.
kind of, retreat into that, because like you said, music kind of became your sanctuary, right?
Yeah, I had put it down for a minute once I started. When I got into the business school, I'm like, you corporate now. You about getting your money. And then Jesus Forgave Me on my first album. My producer had put that track out, and I heard it like, well, I need that. You need to write your autobiography on that track. I need you got to do music and school. You can't just do one. The music is a part of you, and that got me back into music back in 2014.
Okay. Well, I am glad that you got back into music, and I am grateful that you came on and talked about everything today. So, um, yeah, I mean, if people, I know, like I said, your last album, JLE World, came out 2022. I got it through Apple, but I'm guessing where people can get it
All
anywhere.
digital.
Where's the best place for them to go to get it?
Amazon or any digital Google Play, any digital outlet has it. Same with
Okay.
JLE Experience is on all digital platforms too. I
Okay.
released
Yeah.
that in 2019.
Okay. And that one came out in 2019. So you got two full albums that are actually out there, that
Mhm.
people can download and get into. But
Mhm.
thanks for coming on, man. And
Wow.
a lot more respect and gratitude for you as a man. I knew you were a special guy anyway when we first
Appreciate that.
met,
Mhm.
but hearing more of your story, what you've overcome, the intention behind what you're trying to do with your music as well. I love people like you and you know, that are trying to make this world a better place. So
Yeah. I read 2 books that are positive books as well to help people. And that's when I first talked about the suicide, because I ain't want to put that in there. But you got to be obedient to God.
yeah. Well, and so, you know, if people want to reach out to you again, they can go out to the music players, try to find your music that way. If people want to reach out to you, how's the best way for them to reach out to you as well then?
They can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Jeffrey L. Edwards, or my Instagram, Middle Ground with JLE.
Okay, you're on those 2 platforms. Fabulous. Well, anything else you want to share today before we have to wrap for the day?
Don't quit thinking that the impossible that in your head can't be possible. Put the work in and it comes true.
It does, doesn't it? It's great advice. Great advice while you're living testament to that as well, right? That you kind of had the vision as a young man of where you wanted to go, and you put in a lot of hard work to get there. But yeah, your dreams, we can all accomplish our dreams when we have them, when we put in the work for them, can't we? So thank you, man, and excited to go listen to your music again. I'm gonna go out back now and listen to some more of it.
You got the first album, bro.
I know. Well, I got the first album too. Yeah, I downloaded both of them. But like I said, I was starting to listen because I know you'd made reference to a couple of the songs, and so I picked those 2
and I
out.
tell you now, when you listen to Jesus Forgave Me, I was angry on the first verse because they kept calling me corny. You sound too nerdy, Jeff. You gotta put some more to what you're saying. On emphasis, I'm like, Jeff, they want Pac. Like, okay, I got you. Okay, play it again. You want Pac? I got you.
All right, so now I gotta go listen. Now I gotta go listen to that one out back.
Yeah, you allow. He was upset. I got my respect.
Well, thank you again, my friend. I'm sure we'll be talking again as well, because yeah, I really love what you're doing and who you are. So
appreciate
thanks,
you, brother.
man. Rock on. Peace out.
Show.
Whatever. All right, thanks, man.
All right.